This is part one of a two-part podcast.
Hi, this is Mark. There are a lot of reasons to get angry these days, but I prefer to focus on the positive things that we each can do to make this world a better place. The book, Building a Better World in Your Backyard, Instead of Being Angry at Bad Guys, is a great resource for just that. Instead of throwing my arms up in frustration at governments or big corporations, there's a list of ideas that we each can tackle to affect change. Information about this book and other resources can be found at Permies.com.
Oh, it's going. It's happening. All right. I'm here with Alexandra again.
Hello.
Yeah. So I had some notes left over from the last time. Plus, we got into some conversations, and it's like I wrote them down for notes for this time. And I wouldn't be surprised. By the way, you said something yesterday, and I didn't write it down, and so maybe I should bring it up. You tried to make video yesterday. And what did you learn about yourself trying to be in front of a video camera? Bit like holding the podcasteroo contraption, the little microphone.
Podcasting is awful. Making videos is far worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I'm gonna say this because it's fine, but I had my 9-year-old, filmographer.
Yeah. Right.
Taking video.
A true pro.
And then I had my 8-year-old audience, giving me real-time feedback. And after one particularly lovely take, he says, "Wow, Mom, you say a lot."
You don't say a lot. That's bad.
And it's like, thank you.
Even an 8-year-old knows that. Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. So fun. So fun.
But the thing that you are attempting to make a video of is our wood-heated cat houses.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that they are really cool, and it comes from years of evolution. But basically, the thing is that in fact, go ahead and try to, now that you're an expert on cat houses, try to describe what is this.
I think the worst part, going back to your original question, is standing in front of a camera is just so shocking that I feel like what I even said in front of the camera was just so weak. As I'm looking at the videos, it's like, it's lacking like real content. Why can't I say anything useful? Anyway, all right, so the cat houses enable the cats to have a warmer place to be outdoor cats, but to keep all their cat dander outside instead of inside in the human spaces. And all of the cat houses here are accessed at a high point on an exterior wall so that the cats have protection from predators. And I loved it so much that, I built one at my house too. And so fairly easy to build. It's nice to give the cats some windows. Granted, my cat house is far different from yours, and I'm curious to see what the impact of that will be, but your cat houses are on the inside of a structure. My cat house is on the outside, and so I didn't put any windows on my cat house, and so I wonder, how much of an impact that's going to have. But I know cats like to have a lot of visibility, and also the windows on these cat houses enable all the human folk to tap on the glass and play with the kitties. So, I'm curious how much of a difference that's going to make. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I kind of feel like we ended up where we are now for a bunch of different reasons. I mean, we start off with the cat houses being outside, like yours. And then there was the concern like, if you're going to have little baby kittens in there, they should be warmed to some degree. So then people would take those dog bed heaters and stick them inside the cat house, and we'd have to run an electrical cord down and plug it into the wall. And it's kind of like, well, that kind of seems contrary to what our whole dealio is. Rather than giving them electric heat, and the rest of us are having wood heat, So then the idea came to be to make a box that was inside the house that doesn't really open into the house, but both the cat houses have the ability to open into but like one is in the library and one is in the solarium. And so then both of the cat houses have a way of opening into the library or the solarium, but usually just always leave that closed, and I think most people don't even know that you can do that. But there's a constant door between the cat house and the outside. So yeah, the cat has to go up high to get in, and then once they're inside this glass cat house. I love how one of them, the one library I think, has a giant wood-burn sign that says, "Please tap on glass." But anyway,
which is so convenient if you're 6'6".
Oh yeah, because it's way up there. Yeah.
I like the solarium one better because it's far more accessible.
Which is, in fact, this comes up once in a long while where somebody arrives here and they meet me for the first time and they say, "Oh fuck, I knew you were big, but holy shit, man." So I don't know if you ever, I mean, you this is your fourth visit here, so you've gotten past it. I don't know, for the first time you were here, if you ever knew who I was or anything. You could have just been like, "Oh, master gardener course, I'm in." And so, but anyway, what you're making what is happening?
Oh man, it's been 3 years. I remember the first time I arrived here, Gray picked me up at the airport. And as we were almost here, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to meet Paul Wheaton. This is freaking me out." I told Gray, I was like, "You can't tell him I'm nervous." I felt so embarrassed. I've never felt celebrity shock.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And yeah, you were giant. So for the record, I'm 5'0".
Yeah.
And yeah, not only are you massive, and yeah, you were outside. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he's cute." I wasn't ready. You were definitely the biggest person I've ever met.
Okay. Yeah.
Not just in size, but personality.
Oh. Delightful. I sound cool now. So a lot of people are shocked. It's like, "Oh, you're bigger than I knew you." Yeah, this is more than I expected. Holy shit.
I remember I got a picture of you and I at the end of the Garden Masters class, and I was just showing everybody, "Look how little I am." Everybody that would be willing to look at my phone, "Look, he's huge."
Bizarre. It's bizarre, isn't it? It is bizarre.
Does that make you feel good about it?
I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, mostly what I would like is that on the future, I'm recently learning that I might never get on an airplane again. But it would have been nice when I arrived at the airport if they could say, "Oh, fuck, let's get you in that seating, the exit row seat. How about that, eh?" But instead, they're fucking douchey every single time, and that got to the point where about 10 years ago, it's like, fuck it. Anytime I get on an airplane, I'm going first class because I just don't fit in the other seats, and I don't want to get to the airport and hear about all their whiny fucking bullshit. I just want to be able to fit into the seat, okay? And
whoa, so I don't know how you do it. I'm 5'0", and airplanes are still uncomfortable. I can't imagine being huge and then having to fit in a seat. That's crazy.
Airports are now going to require real ID, which Montana has always been against, and Montana has fought it tooth and nail. And I don't fully even understand it, and I don't care, but I'm just kind of thinking, you know what? Maybe I'm just not going to ever get on a plane again, and that's okay. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about all of this. But that's another story for another day. I want this. Okay, so there you go. It's a weird thing. So it's like, oh, you're thinking, oh, it should be fun being this giant, and it's like,
no.
It's different. I don't know if I'd go with fun. I mean, I see you trying to get stuff off of top shelves here in my kitchen, and it's like you clearly are prepared to be a bit of a
climb on things.
Yeah.
It is very it's a strange experience to find my way around your place because it is not built for short people. And so I constantly feel like, oh my gosh, everything is so tall. Like I just can't operate. Even in the workshop especially, it's like, man, the workbench is just so tall. Like it's practically up to my collarbone.
Well, Fred built new workbenches on the far end.
Right.
You know, and plus inside there's a whole bunch of step stools and stuff. And there's step stools and stuff in here. They're all over the place.
Sure. The step stools are comically short. But anyway, you know, when I was showing those photos, it's like more about the juxtaposition of how funny. Like I am this like so small, and it's like when I look at that picture, you look normal size, and I look like a midget. Like that's how I look at those photos. Right. You know, like like I look so little. How is it possible?
I'm just amazed, like when there's people that seem like regular folk, and then it's like, oh, let's take a group photo, and it's like now they all look like munchkins, and and it's like, sorry about that. So it is.
One of these days they'll grow up or something.
I've had a couple of people. It seems like about one person out of 50 or so. The shock of my size is way too overwhelming for them, and they kind of get stuck for a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, it happens.
Interesting.
It takes a while for them to get used to it, I guess.
That's funny.
I am a deformed person in a way.
Yeah, you know, I don't think my children even mentioned anything, and they're, you know, obviously children-sized.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to shock them.
But now at least they're dressed well.
No, girl.
All right, let's get so. I want to continue with the list, and we've got like some really good topics for the podcast today, and I'm glad that we remember this. I don't think we've ever put it into a podcast before, and but I'm going to finish up the list from last time first. Do you believe that all of the things, because now you are one of the few people that is gaining knowledge on both sides, both the in-person side of the things that we do here and Permies.com. And you're also getting a lot with the skip, which is there's a lot of profound stuff in the skip stuff. But the question I have for you is, does this stuff, does all my recipes, speaking of a well-dressed youngster, looking sharp there, dude. So, and of course, what is he crawls on top of the mass of the rocket mass eater because that's the one. It's like being a cat. Like, oh yeah, this is good. Yeah. So cats on the hood of the car, kind of a sensation.
Oh no, it's even better. He found his math book left on the mass. Man, he is starting his day off like a rock star.
Okay. Does this stuff save the world? So if you know, in fact, let me ask an even simpler question. If 100 million people were to read the Better World book, do you believe that it would solve a list of global problems? I'm just saying that they read it. I'm not even saying that they implement it. But now that the information is in their head, probably a few will implement it. Probably half will implement some degree. But 100 million people, if 100 million people were to simply read the Better World book, would that solve a list of global problems according to, and this is a lot of guess, we don't have a ruler to hold up to it or anything like that. This is just speculation.
I'll speculate. Yes. I mean, I'm an optimist. I think it's hard to read about a number of solutions that maybe you've never heard or thought about before, and to not, actively consider how you could possibly incorporate that into your life.
So the next question I want to ask you is almost the same question, but from a different angle. And that is that for me, between the Better World book and all the other things that I'm doing, all of Permies.com stuff, all of, blah, 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 blah. As I try to think about, how do I achieve world domination? How do I make a massive difference? How do I affect global change for the better? How do I get all this stuff into more brains? How do I, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And I've got lots of explanations for this, and I've got but the key is, it is my opinion, and so I want to see if your opinion's anywhere the same. It is my opinion that the next thing that we need in order to achieve world domination for this stuff, to get to the 100 million people or 1 billion people or whatever, more boots in the boot camp.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So, I kind of feel like everything starts there. We need to be able to demonstrate. And then as we demonstrate, we document, we share, we get it out there. One of these days, one of those things will go viral. All right, I can go on and on and on about how the boot camp is the core. And at the moment, I'm kind of thinking okay, how do we get more boots in the boot camp? And we're going to get into this a little bit here a little later, because you pointed out something very critical, and I really want to talk about this. But the BEL, I think, is... So if a person believes this and agrees with this analysis, and they want there to be more boots in the boot camp, plus a lot of people want to be able to view what's happening in the boot camp vicariously, and then I think that the core of it all is the BEL fund. So if somebody's like, I want there to be more boots in the boot camp, but I'm not going to go out and do it because I got my worky job. Well, hey, maybe carve $1,000 off of your worky job and feed it into the BEL. I do want to say that the current payout for the BEL is $2,000. So if somebody wants to come out here and be in the boot camp, there's some fairly decent coin available for those in the boot camp. But I also want to say that we are currently talking about doing a Kickstarter, and I'm already thinking that I'm going to take a big slice of the coin that comes from the Kickstarter and put it into the BEL, so the BEL payout is even bigger.
Do we have a sneak peek into what the Kickstarter will be?
I kind of feel like I don't want to do that. Really, the way to know what the next Kickstarter is to be signed up for the Dailyish. So, right. But it's kind of like, the thing is that in the past what I've done is I will work on developing 3 Kickstarters simultaneously, and 2 of them will kind of crawl, and then one of them will be like suddenly out of nowhere done and ready, and then we go. Whereas usually the one that I think is the slowpoke turns out to be the winner. So I don't want to say, but if we had more boots in the boot camp right now, we would have more Kickstarters being ready more often. But as is, we haven't put out a Kickstarter in a year and a half.
All right, I guess we'll have to stay posted.
Hey, this is T. Blankenship. Have you seen the new video of Wheaton Labs? It is permaculture awesomeness with all new and improved things like more rocket mass heaters, easy bake coffin, Willy Wonka, rocket cooktop 2.0, and the truly passive greenhouse. To see more, go to permies.com/tour. Again, that is permies.com/tour.
So, I do want to say a cool thing about Ash Jackson, and I hope I'm not outing him when I say the following stuff. So Ash Jackson's been on here several times. He's one of the Permies.com staff. he's not, and he sent us a beautiful gift. That was an amazing knife he sent. Like, holy shit! I've never seen one like that before.
I've never seen a cleaver knife, and man, that was wild, beautiful.
Yeah, it's not shaped like a traditional cleaver either. Okay, but Ash Jackson, the thing is that one of the times that he was here, he told me that as he understands global problems and he's trying to, do the thing that is the thing that we're not allowed to do, and that is like, how do we solve global problems? How does an individual do the work to solve these problems? Then he's kind of coming up with this idea of like, okay, what I need to do is buy some property, and I need to build community, and we're going to do permaculture and natural building and all this stuff, and we need to have standards. We need to, so he's kind of got this view of what he needs to do, and as he is preparing to take the steps and do this, and exploring, and designing and stuff like that, then he discovers my stuff, and his position is like, oh, this giant guy is already doing it. And it's like, well, that's easy. That's handy. And so I kind of feel like I love the idea that there exists Ash Jackson, and he said those words. And that, because that's kind of where I was at. And I was really disappointed that there was nothing that existed like what we're doing. And,
sure, I could echo that sentiment as well, which is like, I knew once I was going down this path that I had so much more that I needed to learn, and you existing and producing so much content allowed me to take multiple shortcuts. And so all of the work that you've done has been really helpful and beneficial for me, and moving further along faster.
I want to, and here you are, and you can look around and you can see that we have done so much work to be able to facilitate, let's say, 30 people who are trying to get started down this road. Because I believe that the key component, 90% of the challenge of Hugel culture, Wafati, all of these different things, rocket mass heaters, 90% of the challenge is to not just build a community, which is what we're going to get into here in a little bit, but to not just build a community, but build a community of people that are productive and they fucking give a shit. And in fact, when I started this whole path, 20 years ago, it was April 2005. And so here we are, January of 2025. I thought I need to be on a property with a dozen people that are better at this than I am. And I think that this can be many, many flavors. First of all, I kind of feel like so much of the stuff that I do, it's not anything special. I'm surprised that anybody thinks that I have anything profound to say at all. I'm a little baffled that people listen to these podcasts. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I love the idea that somebody might be here and be an expert at dairy that's knows 10 times more than I do. And there's another person that's going to, be an expert in, let's say, grains and knows 10 times more than I do. And another person that's an expert in honey production and knows 10 times more than I do. And so I love the idea of sharing a table with these experts. And blah, blah, blah. We need to grow the expertise and stuff like that. All right. The thing is that if I kind of feel like so many people care deeply about change, but I feel like they would be 1,000 times more effective globally here than on whatever path that they may be on. And I could be wrong about that, but this is my speculative guess. And so I've made something that I think, but all right, the next step is fill the boot camp. All right. I feel like I said my point. I can move on to that. You're making a face.
I have a dozen thoughts going through my head, and they're all equally speculative. And I do feel strongly that the package that you're able to offer to incoming boots is really phenomenal. And I also feel like it really caters to just like a smaller demographic. And, all of the wants that you're kind of listing makes me feel like those kind of people are probably already embedded in community. Maybe those people who are highly motivated because they have kids and a family. So it's like there are a lot of tiers of individuals with things going on or not, or attachments that aren't really conducive to coming out. And so so all that to say, I feel like anything, the number of people, the types of people, and where they are in their lifetimes and whatever, it's just highly speculative. Like, what would work for some, what wouldn't work for others. But after meeting a number of boots here, it seems like they're generally, younger. They generally they don't have families, right? Like, they don't have their own family, at least. They come from family, obviously, but and they've all been so highly passionate about what they're doing that it's, I guess from my standpoint as a visitor, I've always loved coming here to meet all the boots because they are always just such high caliber people. And so so I enjoy spending time with boots as a visitor for sure. I don't think I could be a boot because I've got 2 kids.
The boot camp is not made for people with little kids. We have put in the Thistle program for the teenagers 12 and up. And but that's still not exactly the same as a boot camp. But I do think that we offer all sorts of programs to facilitate families. But I think there's a big difference between facilitating a family and providing daycare. And it seems like we've had several families who've come here. I mean, you're here with your family right now. We've had several families come here, and everything has been just great. And we've had some people show up with a bunch of kids, and they were frustrated that we didn't basically have built-in daycare for free. Like, they're gonna rent a cabin, and it's like, well, wait, who's gonna watch my kids while I do fun things? And it's like, I don't know. And there have been times when we've had people here who are like, oh, I'll watch their kids. But then it's not very often. And then it's like, sometimes when there's somebody here who's like, I'll watch their kids, that person is like, oh, there's a concert over in Chicago, and I'm going to that. And so I don't know who's going to watch these kids now because I'm leaving like in 3 minutes. So can we put these kids in a box and lock them in or something for now, and or whatever. And it's kind of like, that's because it wasn't me who said, I'll provide. It's like, no, there's somebody else who's here who's like, oh, sure, yeah. And but it does seem like, and I want to make it clear, my house where I live is not unsupervised child storage, which some people have thought it was. Like, oh, here's a 6-year-old who is who is wild, who is a banshee. And I'm sick of looking after my fucking kid. So what I'm going to do is throw the kid in your house and close the door. And the kid will slowly destroy the interior of your home. And that's your problem, man. You should have child-proofed your house better. And it's like, okay, that's not cool. But we've had several people come up, and they brought a whole bunch of kids. We've had people who brought like 7 kids here. And it worked great. Their kids were respectful, and the kids were always supervised by their, they brought the supervision with them. And so it all worked great. So anyway, you mentioned something about kids, and it's like, nope, kids are great. But, if you go and you buy a house somewhere, and then you have a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and then the kids are out in the yard, and then you drive away from the house and leave the kids unsupervised, well, that's going to be a dumpster fire, isn't it? And so I kind of feel like I don't understand how people come here and then they're going to leave their children unsupervised, and that's somehow my problem. And it's kind of like, when we've got big equipment, we're doing construction and stuff like that, and it's like, where'd that kid come from, And people just abandon their kids, and it's like, good luck, kids, you're on your own, and I'm going to go away for half a day. So, yeah. So this is my long-winded way of saying kids are great. Unsupervised kids are a problem. And so if people are going to come here and I don't know, Mormons. Oh, we've had such great luck with Mormons. They bring a whole bunch of kids, but it's like, I don't know, do they go through Mormon child training of some kind? I have no idea. It works out great. I've never had Mormon kids here and have it be a problem. But non-Mormon kids, but it's a 50-50 thing, whether it'll be great or not.
I will say that I came here because I knew I needed to spend a month here. And now that I'm homeschooling both kids, we had the flexibility to be more mobile. And I've been here a few times before, and I know that Paul isn't actually that tyrannical, right? But you have standards and you reinforce them, but if you're decent, it's all fine.
Decent by my standards.
Right.
And when people start doing things that are contrary to my standards, then I get pissy about it. But hopefully everybody else will get pissy about it first.
All that to say, I've only been here during events, and I haven't seen what it's like for other kids to be here. Granted, every time I saw a kid, I was keenly watching, what's acceptable, what's not, but there haven't been that many young kids.
There were quite a few at the Skip event this last summer.
Not young kids, not as young as mine.
I thought one of them was 9.
Well, how old was Kat's son? Who was here? He seemed older than my kids. I think he
was 11.
I think he was the youngest person I've seen here, minus Rebecca's kids, but she was out at the labs. They weren't part of the event, right? They weren't really there unless it was Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? But
then they all wanted to sit next to me, which I don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
The giant guy, maybe that's just
I will say it was that Taco Tuesday of how we were interacting with the kids that I thought, oh man, this could be great. But yeah, so in anticipation of leaving for this trip, I had to accept the possibility that, it wasn't going to work out, that my kids would not, oh gosh,
and now they're staring at you. You talking about us?
Yeah, they are. Oh my gosh. Don't say anything wrong. But yeah, so where was I?
You guys are dressed really sharp. I think you're looking good. Respect. Respect. Yeah.
I had to accept the risk that we would come here and it wouldn't be cohesive and we would have to leave and I wouldn't be able to meet my objective of that BB that I was seeking. But I have to say I've been pleasantly surprised. It wasn't nearly as much of a struggle as I was kind of anticipating. You know, like I know that for events, kids really can't be out and about, and so we're here not during an event, and it's just more casual, more informal, and the kids have the kids quickly kind of understood like what's okay, what's not okay, and everything's been delightful, really.
Yeah, and they've jumped into projects. They're industrious. They're respectful. I mean, there's the kids that have been problematic tend to be very whiny, and they're still in the process of training their parents to be obedient, and so there's a lot of back and forth as the parents are not being as obedient, and the child struggling to train them still.
I don't know, Paul. I feel like the kids have been training you to be obedient to their demands of storytelling.
Oh, they try. They try.
Another. Tell me another. Give me another story.
I don't know. When they ask for a story, I feel like I'm good if I come up with one at the time. But then they ask for more, and it's like I can't think of anything.
I don't know. It seems like you've been very indulgent.
What was the story that I told that apparently one of your kids tried to tell their dad when he was here?
Oh, right.
About Batman and the kittens.
Yeah.
Batman had kittens.
My kids were just rolling of laughter. And so when we picked up my husband from the airport, they're like, Dad, this was the funniest story. And then we basically spent more time talking about how we are really inept at storytelling compared to Paul. And so we had to come back and have you retell the story properly.
So out my office window, I heard a meowing sound. It was like teeny tiny mews that were tinier than any cat we had here. And so I went outside to go look.
I feel like you should leave the audience
wanting.
Yes.
To come out here to hear the story.
Exactly, because you have to take your time with your story. You can't breeze through it. You have to come out.
I was going to try to do the abbreviated version just real quick. The Batman story. Okay, all right, fine. I'm going to step away. I'll stop the story.
Out.
We've got other things to talk about anyway.
Exactly.
The Batman story is like
it's
not really a great permaculture story, and this is supposed to be and I think we've got some very powerful stuff to touch on today.
That's true.
And we got a limited amount of time. All right, so the Batman story is just going to have to wait.
Come on out to Wheaton Labs if you want to hear the Batman cat story in real time.
Okay, so the key is, I think that kids are great when they're great, and kids are a problem when they're a problem. And so, I don't know, but I kind of feel like, no, I think that we're all set for kids to live here permanently, and people to raise a family here. But, it has to be within our standards. But I think that for 1,000 people that want to come out here or be part of something like this, 999 will not come simply because of our standards, the no weed, no tobacco stuff. And
I'm just going to insert myself into this. If you have kids, know that there are tons of hugelkultur paths for your kids to run on. Paul will retrofit your kids with some what are those things called? The slingshots, so they can properly play.
And if your kids try to fight, I will teach them how to fight better. Why are you hitting your brother like that? You're swinging your arms. You got to keep your elbows in. How are you going to do damage to your sibling if you don't keep your elbows in?
Yep, and if some comedy arises, as they do with kids, Paul will more likely be more interested in watching the comedy and delighting in it. So, if you have a family, give it a try. I feel like our Christmas this year, to me, felt way more meaningful than it was materialistic. And, it was just really delightful. So, give it a try. We didn't turn back after day 3, as it turns out.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, the kids really enjoyed being with the Boots, and there are so many games to play here. So there have been so many. Oh, yeah,
we have lots of games. People have donated so many games, and Stephen loves the games.
I wonder, do you, this is off the cuff, but do you have anything that you want to say was like the most awesome thing?
Man.
The Batman story. You're just now hyper-focused on the Batman story. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'll speak for my son. I think his absolute favorite thing to do here was run at Allerton Abbey. It was just magical for him. Running. Oh, and then hide and seek. Man, they love doing hide and seek. Even in the Fisher-Price house. Just endless fun, hide and seek. And I think I still owe you a game of hide and seek at Allerton Abbey. Yeah.
Okay.
This podcast is continued in part 2.
I'm Edward Norton. No, not that one, the other one, and I love pies. No, not that kind, the other kind. Hermes is an old-school forum packed full of friendly people who occasionally give out a slice of pie. You'll never forget your first slice of pie. It made me feel so good, I had to buy a whole pie so I could share the love. Oh, and there's apples too. Sign up at permies.com to join in the world of homesteading and permaculture, and you too might get a slice of pie.